Hey everyone, we're back with Chaos Child. We are quickly approaching the climax of the game, I think. Like, we just had a scene where, like, we pinpointed who could or couldn't be the culprit. But, like, I know this is weird coming from me. I'm not convinced Serika is the one who brainwashed Ito. Like, something I thought of, right, is that picture was on Takuru's phone. So, A, Takeru could have done it, which is, you know, something that was highlighted. It's actually plausible. Remember, the whole thing that started me suspicious, like, thinking Serika isn't real is is Chaos Head, right? Like, a big part of Chaos Head was suspecting, is Takumi the culprit? Is he involved in some way? Is he not? Something ended up being, he was not involved. It was, you know, not a red herring, but it was made to look like he was, like, kind of being framed, right? In Chaos Child, meanwhile, we've never really had to suspect Takeru. So if he was the culprit, that's an inverse of Chaos Head, which is the exact reason that made me think Serika isn't real, I believe. I think. Go back and look. In my head, right, I've just incepted the idea Serika isn't real because of what 2020 was going on about. It's been 4 years. Serika being real, that's just a fact of life. Right? But anyway, if the culprit had Takeru's phone, I was kind of thinking, like, is that his lock screen? I couldn't find the I tried going back and looking at the scene where he talks about it in Nono's room. It didn't say it all. So, like, they could just press the power button on the phone and see the picture of, you know, Takeru and Yui. Because I feel like that NFT has to be relevant. But we also know Nono has a copy. But I refuse to suspect Nono. If Nono is evil, then Chaos Child is just kind of ruined for me. She's like the emotional heart of this game. She cannot be evil. She's best girl. You asked me, all the people in my class were ignorant children. Where did we leave off? When I was in 4th grade, only about 1 in 6 kids had a smartphone. A bunch of them would use their phones during breaks to pull up secret web pages made by kids at school or dumb joke sites. Pass them around the class to become the center of attention. Each of them would be the leader of their own little group. One day, one of these leaders was upset because he couldn't visit a site he'd been able to access the day before. Some of the kids in his group suggested that it was broken, or maybe the address had changed. I told him it's internet content filter. Parents contacted the cell phone company to limit your online access. The leader looked stunned for a moment. He yelled at me not to make stuff up. The rest of the group joined in. I knew I was right. I wasn't making anything up. Didn't understand why they were yelling. Later, I realized that I was the class misfit. He was the boss of his little group. He didn't like that I had shown him up. I only went to school once in a while. When I did, something like that always happened. Oh, right, the Takeru not going to school thing. That's when... Remember, Kawahara talked about that a little bit. Why didn't he go to school before? I was sick of it. I wanted to show the rest of the class I was better than they were. I wanted to shock all those wrong-siders. When I snuck inside, I found a place filled with true darkness, like any I'd ever experienced. I could hear her gasp behind me. Okay, Serika's there. Wink, wink. You okay? Serika, well, hold on. I was trying to see if there's a line. Oh, there wasn't. Okay. She just clung to me as if seeking escape from the darkness around. Should we go home? Serika quickly shook her head. That house. I thought for a second and nodded. For her, that was probably the real reason. Okay, let's go. Serika nodded back. Even in the darkness, you see that her lips were quivering. She was scared. Maybe I'm lucky. What I wanted in this situation wasn't a brave comrade who would go boldly forward with me, but a friend who would shiver pathetically behind my back. No matter what happened, I had to protect Serika. Having her there made me feel better like that. Brought my focus back to what was going on around me, started to softly walk forward. How did he get down there? Like, it was clearly a secret. I woke up from the usual dream. For once, I hadn't been sweating in my sleep. In fact, I felt better than usual. Oh, it's the 4th. Okay. Did we load the wrong save? did I? Are we? Feel extremely alert. Finish my usual routine. Listen to that. Hold on. Not a kid anymore. Won't give up halfway like I did before. I need to solve his right in front. Is this chapter 2?
このシールを見たことはありますか? 該当.
Is this chapter 2? Hold on. We're skipping a little bit. Figures, yeah. We're on chapter 2. I'm stupid. Whoops. Is it this one? November 3rd, Tuesday. We were going after Nono, who just ran off. I was kind of wondering where Takeru went to bed. The path to Hekio Academy. Yeah, that's just a flashback. That's foreshadowing. Kirsten was walking alone along an empty street. Her breathing was a little heavy. She'd been walking a long time, at a fast pace. She was wearing her school uniform. The school rule that said whenever you went on campus, you had to wear your uniform. Suddenly realized that she was obeying it even now. She just found a clue in the Don't Look video. Asked a certain person to meet her at Hekio Academy. The person said they couldn't be there immediately. They'd call her when they got to the school. So there's no need to rush. Plenty of time until that other person would get there. That's what Kurusu told herself. Her body kept driving her forward. She realized she hadn't looked at it in a long time. Must have been under more strain than she realized. She looked and saw several calls from Takeru and Arimura. Instead of stopping and heading back, sighed as she realized it was impossible. She couldn't go back to Alba Dorm now. She saw Takeru's face. Her determination would waver. She would change her mind. So now, the only thing she could do was go forward. Now that she realized the hidden truth. She apologized to her absent brother and tapped the phone in her pocket. Then she glared at the hill in front of her as she readied herself for what was about to come. She had to rid herself of any kindness or sentimentality. Even if she didn't intend to have any mercy now, she might find herself having a moment of weakness later. Is she going to kill Sarika? At night, the academy was an ominous, dark silhouette amidst the dazzling lights of Shibuya. It was as if it knew what was coming. Usually there's a guard in the room attached to the front gate. For some reason, she couldn't see him. That's convenient. The air felt tense. She shook off her uncertainty and went inside. She went into the dark newspaper club room and turned on the fluorescent light. Kirsten decided to wait here for her call, but when she arrived, she found something unexpected. Oh, the map? It's the map they put up to analyze the case. It's been taken down for a while now. It's now back up on the wall. There were several new pictures and pieces of information she hadn't seen before. Probably Takeru was doing. They're continuing to hunt the killer in secret, too. He's the main character, he's allowed to. She felt herself letting her guard down as she thought of Takeru, quickly shook her head. She brought a chair close to the wall and sat down and stared at the map. Takeru had said something once. Now, feels like the case is pursuing us. Looking back, several things had happened that could only be explained that way. Kirsu decided that Takeru's life was in danger because he was a psychic. She was going to save him. The killer was just after Takeru's life. There are more direct ways to go about it. Instead, they enacted the Return of New Gen Madness killings, and Yui's life in the process. I wonder, is anything changed? I don't notice any differences. Like, they obviously, the big thing is the 3 pictures here. And Yui's life in the process. It would have been easy for them to take Takeru's life as well. Just like Takiro had said, it seemed to be slowly closing in on them from all sides, which meant
タクルの命じゃなくて、タクルに関する別の何かが目的。
was the only thing that made sense. Couldn't figure out what it could be.
ただ、
She saw a piece of paper on the board. Ida had Minamisawa's ID card. That impossible fact had swirled inside her chest and sent her mind reeling. One of the reasons she'd figured out it was Haruko.
ただ、その目的を果たそうと、事件の裏で動いている人間が誰なのか。
You couldn't tell anyone before you went off on a death mission? It all started with the ID card that Senri had. That was without a doubt her real card. No one but Kryusu could have known where it was. All of Senri's possessions were lying beneath the memorial. Kryusu had put them there herself. All of Senri's family had died in the earthquake. She had no surviving relatives. So after the memorial had gone up, Kryusu had put them there. Even Kawahara, the other boy who had often played with him, didn't know that. A secret about Senri that only Kryusu knew. Kryusu's not the culprit, don't pull that. But Haruka also knew that secret. Well, she'd been given it. How was that possible?
思考盗撮。
The power to see other people's thoughts and memories. Kakira, I mean, there was a camera at the memorial the whole time. Anyone could have seen that. The victim in the revolving dead case had supposedly possessed it. The killer had used it to read Kryusu's mind. Do you think the killer's collecting psychic powers? Do you think that works? That's how they were able to find Senri's ID card.
つまり犯人は私と接触したことのある誰か。
Now that she found out what was hidden in the Don't Look video, she had no choice but to fight them. She probably made contact with them more than once or twice, because they were one of her closest friends.
あなたとはどれくらいの付き合いになるんだったかしらね。
She suddenly remembered their smile. Their whisper echoed off the walls, with no one to hear it. It's possible Sarika wasn't even in any of Takuru's memories. She's only known him for a week or two, right? Well, a month, let's say. Right before the story starts, and she just brainwashed everyone to think she existed. The countless after-school hours they'd spent together were some of the most important times in Kryusu's life. That's assuming, she's real. Meaningless conversations, shops they browsed together. Couldn't think of any special memory. It was very painful for her. Because of Kryusu, the two of them were such natural parts of each other's lives. But I have to ask. I have to find out. Even if the answer meant that things would never be the same.
それともう一つ。
Her thoughts went deeper. There's one more thing she had to add. A.H. Tokyo General. That was where Takuyo had seen Senri being experimented on 8 years ago. She'd been tied to a chair, slowly going mad. She saw a boy that she didn't know. It was Takuyo. She had no time to figure out who he might be. She shouted, "Help me," without even understanding what was going on. The boy heard what she cried out and ran. Was he surprised at the horrible scene he saw? Or afraid? Probably both. Kryusu couldn't blame him for either. At the time, he was just a 4th grader. 10-year-old boy. No way he could have saved Senri. That's why Senri didn't hate him for that. Kryusu knew that. She tried to tell Takuyo many times and failed. She'd failed to tell him about her one big mistake. That's why she'd always been suspicious. That's the reason why she now knew the truth. Because Sarika wasn't there when Senri told her about it. So that day 8 years ago, the boy had witnessed Senri being experimented on. He was alone. Dude, that scene we just played was perfect. That was actually perfect. That's a perfect flashback. He was outside the room where the experiment was being done. Just a single, timid boy peeking through a tiny crack in the door. There had been no one next to him.
けど、タクルはあの時、二人で目撃したと言っている。
First she thought that Takuyo was just being confused. Been in a coma for over a year, and he was simply mistaken. But then that person had said the same thing, that they were together. But a thorn in her heart for a long, long time.
本当にあなたは、あの時タクルと一緒にいたの？
She reached out towards the computer. But in the end, she let her hands simply float in the air. She'd seen the video dozens of times. Would it be any different here than it was in Alba Dorm? Nor would the secret it concealed. Nor would it change what she was about to do. There's no changing any of it. What if you go on the first video, you can actually just see a tiny Serica floating in the sky? Like, I don't know. I don't want to go back and look because I don't think it's going to be obvious. I bet it's going to be like one half a line or something. A long time before they called here. It's almost midnight. But you couldn't do this like the day before because, like, then, you know, no one can die. Kurusu didn't get frustrated. She simply waited calmly. She assumed it would be around this time. Probably waiting for November 4th, the day of New Gen Men. Then they were going to do to her what they did to the other victim. She felt her phone vibrating and took it out of her pocket. Takeru was still calling despite the late hour. Sent text messages too. Of course, Kurusu hadn't answered at all. Was it him again? Thought as she looked at the screen. The name she'd been waiting for appeared on the screen. She answered the call and put the phone up to her ear.
もしもし。
She heard a voice she knew well on the other. Sorry to keep you waiting, they said.
いいのよ。そんなに待ってないから。それにここへ呼んだのは私の方だし。それじゃあ屋上でいいかしら。待ってるわね。
She ended the call and went to put the phone back into her pocket. Suddenly, she stopped and called up a picture on the screen. A photo of her family in Alba Dorm. Same as the one that was Taku's NFT. She stared at it for a while, then placed the phone on the edge of the table, the place where she always sat when she was with the newspaper club. Something happened to her. She wanted someone else to save it. Sell it for a lot of money. Then she looked around the room and bowed.
お世話になりました。
Turned off the lights, and became dark as the abyss. Don't act like you're never coming back. He wasn't by your side to tell you. You at least brought like a knife or something with you, right? You've been stabbed, so you've gained the ability to stab. Dang it! What, he's just in his room now? He's pulling my hair out in frustration. I've already watched the video 100 times. There's of course the video of Otani, the don't look victim. He'd wept tears of blood, lost his arm which had dyed his dusk red and died. Not only was I watching a shocking gory video over and over again, I was desperately searching for what Kurusu had found. Felt like I was going crazy. Is that Sumo Sticker Miku? You guys see that? Kurusu! Answer me, Kurusu! Each time I finished watching the video, I called her phone. Never answered. Yeah! Slammed my finger down on the end call button, started up the video again. Maybe it was something in the user comments, not the video itself. Let it might be, so I checked everyone. Nothing had struck me as unusual. Just a flood of meaningless comments going from right to left. Only a few of them were actually worried about Otani. Made me even more mad. What the heck am I supposed to find in this video? Pardon my French. I wanted to fill the screen. Tried slowing it down. Turn your volume up, you idiot! There was nothing. Kurusu found something here?
Takuru-san.
There's a hesitant knock at the door and Yuuki came in. Probably been crying with Yuuki. She's rubbing her swollen, red eyes. Where's Yuto?
先生が帰ってきて見てくれてます。お薬を飲んだのですぐに眠れるだろうって。
Her voice is still very a little tear.
何かわかりましたか?
No, I've got nothing. Yuuki looked very concerned as she watched me grit my teeth.
私、ののさんが何かを発見したとき、近くにいました。
Yeah?
なんだかいつもの冷静なののさんじゃなくて、だからとても心配です。
Yuuki seemed to be remembering what had happened. Seeing her like that only made me more worried. How did she act?
それが突然立ち上がって、そんなのは嘘だとかありえないとか、最初すごくうろたえていて。
Shocked?
はい、顔色も真っ青だったんです。
She also couldn't hear anything. Shocked and pale? That means she knew who the killer was? Or someone who didn't want to be the killer? She didn't want to be. So it was me, or Noe. Was it me? Then I shook my head.
ごめんなさい。本当はそこで私がののさんの力に慣れていればこんなことには。
No, it's not your fault. I tried my best to keep her from sensing my panic, but I slowly asked her another question. For now, I wanted any hint, no matter how small. Uki, so Kurusu watched the video and figured something out, right? She watched that scene over and over.
多分そうだったと思います。
What part of it? Don't know.
すみません。
She looked down towards the ground. I shook my hand at her. I'm not blaming you. Just get to the Serika action already. What should I do? What do I answer to get the hint I need? No good. I don't know. Tell me, Kurusu. Where is the clue? Tell me.
情けないっすね、先輩。
My Mario. And then suddenly heard a voice behind Uki. Looked up and saw Aoyamori playing with her twin tails.
なんすかその顔。泣きそうじゃないですか。
Takeru and Aoyamori team up duo are about to 1v2 Serika. Maybe Uki will be there too. She can join his support. Shut up! It's got nothing to do with you. Yelled at her even though I knew I shouldn't. Aoyamori laughed.
関係なくないっすよ。そろそろ11月4日になるんですけど、ウキのそばにくっついてろって言ったの先輩でしょ？
Oh. I'm sorry.
あと、クルス先輩のこと実は結構好きなんすよね、私。だから関係ないとか言われるとすっげームカつく。
We all love Kurusu. Huh? Aoyamori's face suddenly became serious. Then she yelled.
しっかりしなさい。そんなに焦ってたら気がつくものも気がつかないでしょ、このバカ。ってクルス先輩なら絶対に言うと思います。
Aoyamori, your Nono impression's really good.
ねえウキ、クルス先輩が何かにびっくりして、でその後映像を何度も見直したんだよね。
Is the ribbon theory ever gonna come true? Is that gonna be a thing? I forgot about that one.
はい。
その時ってどんな様子だったわけ？何かに気づいて驚いた後だよ。
Aoyamori put her hand on Uki's shoulder and started to ask more questions.
ののさんすごく真剣な顔になって怖いくらいでした。
She also said her ears were ringing and couldn't hear anything I said.
うん。で
Say that.
イヤフォンにじっと耳を澄ませる感じで、こう何かを一生懸命聞こうとしてるというか。
うん。
What? Then I realized. Missed something very simple. Thank you! What the hell have I been doing? Aoyamori was right. I'm panicking too much because I was worrying about Kurusu. Kurusu was watching the video yesterday. That's why she and I got into that fight. She wasn't wearing headphones then. Could have been set to maximum volume. What if this was deliberate?
どうしました先輩？
The audio! Not the video, there's something in the audio! It's like Kurusu had worn headphones and set the sound to maximum. Aoyamori, just listen to this. Enter the stereo headset that was connected to the computer. I saw that she put them on. I set the volume to maximum and pressed play.
申し訳ない。この安売りセールしていた生地がありえないくらい硬くて。
The sound was so loud that she ripped the headphones off her ears, right? So she threw them at me.
ちょっと私の耳をぶっ壊すつもりですか？
Right? That's what you would normally
当た
say.
り前でしょうが。
But normally you wouldn't focus on anything with the sound this loud. In other words, what Kurusu had been listening to. The part where there's barely any sound. Move the video back to the start and played it at maximum volume.
はい。ではいつも通り3分くらい募集をかけるんで適当によろです。
Yeah, actually, back in under the text box, there's just a Serika. Or the cupboard or something. Sitting with them in front of the computer is too loud to listen to.
なんだよ。生放送中だっつうの。
Sound got a little better when he left the computer. Still heard at maximum volume. But I imagine her listening to this part over and over. Otani disappeared out of frame, not being able to hear what he was saying. This was the part where people thought the killer had come in. Everyone, from the police to internet users all over the country, never turned their volume up. I thought it would lead to the killer, then listened to millions of times. If it was in this part, someone would have found it already.
この先、確か怖いんですよね。私、あっち行ってます。行こう、ウキ。
でも
Aramori pulled Uki away by hand. Uki turned and looked at me, concerned. Thanks, Uki. I'm okay now. Thank you too,
必
Aramori.
ずクルス先輩を見つけてくださいね。
Yeah, don't get separated once the fourth starts, okay? Even in the bathroom. Yell loud if something happens. I'll be right there.
はい、お願いします。
期待しないで待ってます。
Also, I need to go to the bathroom really bad. One of you please come with me? I gotta go. Once I made sure that Aramori and Uki had gone up to the dining room, started to check all the parts of the video with white noise. Not here. Nothing knocking! Not here either. No, there's nothing here. And that sounds like footsteps. Door? Or in this scene. The Garo Froggy! Nothing here either. The small sounds mixed in with the irritating white noise. Harder than it looked to focus all your nerves on them. My hearing started to fade, started to lose my sense of balance. My head felt heavy, suddenly had a terrible headache. Ah! Sumo Sticker Miku! Grit my teeth and fought through the pain. Kirsu had gone through this, and then she found something. I had to do the same thing. Exclamation point? And then, heard a tiny noise. It's me, Sirika! Paused the video without even realizing I'd done so. What was that? I put my finger on the headphone to my right ear, pushed it in deeper so I could hear better. I used my left hand to move the video back and press play again. What is this sound? A scene where Otani was cutting what he described as cheese beneath a dim fluorescent light. Between the sounds of the knife, I could hear something else. One more time. Play the video again. I've heard this sound before. I knew that sound. I heard it very recently. Very close to me. Played it again and again. Concentrated everything I had on picking out the tiny sound from amidst the noise. What? I finally realized what it was. Suddenly I felt a cold pillar of ice that had been pressed. I don't recognize it. I can only guess it's the Garo Froggy. But a cold pillar of ice had been pressed against my spine. I felt sheer terror if you want. My hand shook and sweat poured out of every pore in my body. It felt like the room was spinning. Can't be, can it? Stuff! Pardon my French. Slammed my shaking hands down on the desk. Pain finally got them to do what I wanted. Took me several tries. Finally managed to open my Pokecom and power it on. Pokecom? Pokecom? It's like a Pokédex? I yanked out the headphones from the PC and plugged an audio cable into my Pokecom. No. I kept screwing it up. I managed to load the scene into an audio editing software. Set the volume to maximum and set it on repeat. Then I hit the play button, my hand still shaking. The Garo Froggy sound? Die! This can't be real! Slammed the Pokecom down on the floor and called her on my phone. The phone rang and rang. Once, twice, 3 times. Kirsu noticed the sound? Kept ringing. 6 times, 7, 8. Like she was ignoring me. Not picking up. I ended the call, and this time I put on Kirsu's number. Tapped the call button. Got the same result. Why? They kept ignoring me. No matter how long I waited, I couldn't hear Kirsu's voice. Dang it all! Hung up the phone and ran out of the room without even knowing where I was going. November 4th, 2015. Oh, Wednesday. The roof was normally a place for students to laugh and talk. But under the cold moonlight, empty benches seemed silent. Kirsu looked at the benches and shivered once more. wasn't just because of the cold. She was terrified of benches. It's because she had realized this place was truly empty. Of course it was. No one was allowed to be here at this hour. It was an isolated place where the warm light didn't reach, only the cold light. No matter what happened here, the rest of the world wouldn't know, wouldn't exist outside of this.
おあつらえ向きすぎかしらね。
It was so perfect for her that it was almost sad, Kurusu thought. While Kurusu was waiting for her to arrive, she hadn't been thinking about the case. Strangely, she'd been thinking about her family and friends instead. What had she always said to her family before she had left to come here in the morning? Did they smile? The younger students who had helped with the student council's work. The talk she'd had with her classmates about the latest fads. The brief fights in the lunchroom, she got in as soon as the bell rang to tell them to go back to class. Each time she started to lapse too deep into her memories, a cold wind would blow and pull her back into reality. Then she'd realize something. The self-abasing laugh. She knew it. The reason Nono wasn't thinking about the case was because that part of her was sure she already knew everything. If she asked, she'd get the fatal answer that would lay bare the truth. I got jump scared by malware bites. Gotta pop up. When she finally heard the answer, strong wind blew. A strong wind! An amazing wind! As if to carry away her thoughts, she closed her eyes for a moment. When she opened them, she heard the sound of a rusty door opening.
のんちゃん
Didn't part of the climax of Chaos Head take place on a roof like this? I think, was it the roof of the hospital? I think that's where Bond died. And, what's her name confronted her sister? Kurusu's lips twisted a little when she heard her say that.
のんちゃんか。
Made her mad to hear herself called that. She felt heat rising from the bottom of her stomach. It's time to begin.
本当に悪かったわね。こんなところに呼び出して。
Why does she look low resolution?
ね。おのえ
What? It was Serikal the whole time?
のんちゃん
She might genuinely be unaware of it. Did she realize that Kurusu was addressing her by her last name now? Or did she sense something instinctively? Serika repeated herself, this time with a suspicious look on her face. She tried to get closer, but a glance from Kurusu stopped her. Serika froze.
答えなさい。あなたなの？
何が
答えなさい。
Question mark? All of her brain cells are in the Garo Froggy. Kurusu repeated her words to her former best friend, the one person outside her family that she called by first name. Serika's expression didn't change. It's the same face Kurusu knew so well. The same look that Serika wore when she bought a crepe. It's pronounced crepe, right? I think it's crepe. Started wondering what was inside. Thinking back, the two of them went shopping together all the time. Inoue had insisted that she looked fine without makeup. Kurusu had insisted on buying her some anyway. But a lot of fun. They were always together in the club. She'd argued about Taku's reckless plans, stopped Kazuki from pounding on the walls. Two of them were always amazed at the stupid things Ito-kun said. They'd always been laughing together. But now...
第一の事件。あそこにいたのはあなたよね。
わかんないよ、のんちゃん。さっきから何を。
映像に音が入ってた。私のよく知ってる音がね。
Garo Froggy! The Don't Look video. You heard the strange sound that Serika's Garo Froggy always made. Serika had a bad habit of unconsciously fiddling with it whenever she was focusing on something. Kurusu took a step forward to stop herself from falling over. Glanced at Serika with a challenge in her eyes. That's right. Kurusu was glaring at Serika.
ちょっとのんちゃん。
答えなさいって言ってるでしょ。
Serika staggered back at the sound of her loud footsteps. Finally, her expression changed. There's fear in it.
ユイは私たちの家族から消えてしまった。死んでしまったの。もう帰ってこないの。どうしてあんなことをしたの。
I really don't want her to make an evil face. I want her to be genuinely just unaware. Serika stayed quiet, that terrified expression still on her face. Was she really terrified by Kurusu? Was she trying to fool her? Or... Kurusu took another step forward.
8年前のあの日、あの病院の地下にあなたはいたの？タクルと一緒に本当にいたの？答えられないわよね。だってあなたは絶対にあそこにはいなかったもの。それは私が一番よく知ってる。それじゃあ、あなたは一体誰
？This is the Serica isn't real theory still has grounds to stand. I'm just praying it stays alive, please. Kurusu's question was something she'd wondered about ever since Inoue had said she'd gotten to that basement with. It was the one last thing she'd been unsure of. She kept quiet about to protect her own secret. Until a little while ago, it seemed like it didn't matter. She was willing to go her whole life without finding out, because Inoue Serica was someone she loved. But now...
言いなさい。あなたは誰？
Like, Takuru's like imaginary friend he had in childhood mixed with Senri's memories or something? Serica said nothing, not a word. Did you really not know anything? Thought crossed her mind for a moment, quickly kicked it away. That was just what she wanted to believe. She had suspicions about Serica for a long time. She'd ignore them because she's too afraid to ask. The result of that had been Yui's death. Kurusu raised her hands and brought them together, offering up a prayer. The next moment... Has she always had that? Has she always had Gigalomaniac claws? Come on! How was she hiding that the whole time? She brought them down, hard and straight, as if swinging a sword. What? Zoom out, I want to see them in full. Serica moved back, just a little. Her movement may have looked like pure reflex, but Kurusu didn't miss. Which meant...
やっぱりそうなのね。
Serica saw them. That was the answer to everything.
そうだったのね。
We got the organ! Making a straight face. Or her eyes changed. Serica's face became blank and expressionless. She didn't frown or sigh at her own failure. Her manner became that of a beautiful doll. She was right. She'd been ready for it. Couldn't help but cry. She tried to stop herself. She gritted her teeth. Oh boy, the music's kicking in! Serica's gaze wasn't fixed on her anymore. She stood, legs apart, as if judging the distance between herself and the thing in the seemingly empty space between them.
間違いない。
You could see what Kurusu was holding. And now, it was Serica's turn to look into her eyes. Her eyes were different than Kurusu had ever seen before, as if they saw everything.
違う。
Suddenly, Kurusu realized it wasn't just a simile. Her eyes really did see everything. Whose eyes are those eyes? It was telepathy. Terrible, twisted power. It could expose all of your most treasured secrets. Kurusu heard the sound of herself clenching her jaw. But she forgot the tears, turned herself over to the rage that was boiling within her. Oh, there's like a sword on the claws? It's been 6 years since she booted it. It's almost sad how easily it came into her hand. A D sword. A monstrous blade that only those with the power to transform delusions to reality could wield. She refused to look away from the light that she never wanted to see again as she pointed the blade at her opponent.
あなたよね。南沢千里を使っていたのは。
Using? Teleports behind
お前
you?
に言われたくないよ、クルスノノ。
Oh no, her voice made Kurusu shiver. And a blade even more wicked than her voice appeared in Serica's hands, opening like a blooming, poisonous flower. Everyone's a Gigalomaniac! Kazuki's probably in the background laughing, hacking on her computer, which is actually a D-sword. Ha ha ha! Everyone... It was beautiful. For a moment, Kurusu was blinded by the beauty of the weapon. She forgot that it threatened to cut into her soft flesh. Serica leapt off the ground. She closed the distance between them in an instant. Kurusu brought down her own sword as hard as she could, without even time to follow her movement. Don't! And as she screamed,
ごめんね。
she heard her own voice. By the time she realized she was talking to Takuyo, it was already too late. The light flashed in front of her, as if driving the thought from her mind. Like, we'll save her in the true ending. It's okay, everyone. Why, Serica? Same thought kept going through my head like I was an idiot. I couldn't think straight. Why? What was she doing at a murder scene? Dang it! The saliva caught in my throat as I moaned in pain. It was a lot of effort to keep myself from falling over. And I don't have time to waste here. Huh? Stopped when I heard a sound. It was in front of a familiar place. It wasn't the one I was heading to. On my way from Albadorm to Serica's condo in Daikanyama. What was that? Question mark? I saw something strange in the corner of my eye and looked up at the school building. School at night was an imposing sight. On top, a feeble light, a fluorescent bulb that was about to burn out. Running. Started to run, dragging my feet forward as I went. I raced up the stairs of the building without even bothering to take off my shoes. Wow, that's how you know he's serious. The lights in the yard illuminated my face with a certain rhythm as I ran. That light was something different. Strange, dull light. The light of a D sword. Made it to the top of the stairs and slammed straight into the door. No. Yanked it open, trying my best not to think about what I'd find beyond. Red, pink? First thing I saw wasn't the light of a D sword, instead the red. My heart beat loudly once, then all was silence. Didn't feel anything at all, as if I'd been completely frozen at what I saw. This text box is the most inconvenient thing. Oh, she's still alive! Look! She's alive! She's lying on the ground in front of me. Her clothes were red. Someone was in front of her, looking over their shoulder at me. Not someone. I knew her. She looked different than I'd ever seen before. The deadly weapon in her hands made me shiver. That weapon was deeply... Strong wind blew towards the open door. But every time it says strong wind, I can't take it seriously. I just think of that one scene. As if someone was trying to push me back in. They're trying to get me away from the threat in front of me. She'll kill you too! Run away! Now! The voice I heard in the illusion? It was the voice of the person I cared about. Now lying on the floor. Ah! This is a point where Taku's voice acting would actually come in handy. Oh, does he get it for real? Suddenly all sound disappeared. My head hurt like hell. I ignored it. All the doubts I'd had, all the feelings that told me it was a lie, left them all behind. Only when I saw that the distance between us was closing rapidly that I realized I had started running. A meaningless scream poured from my throat. I could tell from the way my throat was vibrating. I couldn't hear the sound at all. I kept running. Everything seemed to be passing by me in slow motion. I felt a pulsing in my brain. My hand reached out for nothing at all. Down now. Never been able to touch it. Now I could easily grab it. What was I touching? What was I holding? Some fragment of useless rationality was still within me, asking me these stupid questions. Holding the thing that's gonna slice her apart! My own delusions, which have manifested through real booting. Twisted blade that weighed nothing at all. When I swung my D-sword, it's more than close enough to hit her. She'd already turned around and raised her D-sword up from below. Don't hesitate! Why did she have a sword too? I didn't know. Before I could think about it, brought down my weapon with all my might. Huh? Serica blocked it without making a sound. That wasn't right. My D-sword stopped before she could block it. Right before it hit her.
どうした?
I heard a voice I'd never heard before. I saw a look I'd never seen before. Ah! Couldn't move. She hadn't done anything to me. There's no mind control. I was the one in control. My hands had stopped. They'd struck an invisible wall. Why? Why?
来ないのか
Why can't I move? Why won't my arms? My legs? My feelings caught up to me. My reason came back. My heart finally started to scream. Can't be happening. It can't! Why would Serica do this? No way this can be real. No way she can be real. Ah! The pounding headache I had forgotten came back, and I fell to my knees. Ah! My head felt like it was gonna split in half. Grabbed it with both hands. At that point, my D-sword had disappeared. The wail that I tried to strike Serico with was already gone. Dug my nails in and closed my eyes. Feel the veins in my forehead pulsing with my hand. I felt something sticky on my knee. Smelled a mild perfume. Just like before, my little sister had been killed and ripped apart. Again? Is this happening again? This is about someone who is every bit as important to me as my little sister. Kurusu Nono. Oh, I thought Kurusu was the big sister. Who did this? Who was the one that attacked her with a blade and cold eyes? I'm telling you, can't be a no way. Tried to use my rage to drive that thought away, but I couldn't. Kurusu! I heard a wordless voice. Forced my eyes to open. Huh? Serica was already gone. Looked around with blurry eyes. There's no light from her D-sword. No sign of her at all. Crawled over to Kurusu. Kurusu! She was crying. Large tears fell silently from her vacant eyes. I mean, you could call an ambulance right now. Her chest was stained red. Each time she breathed, more blood came out. Kurusu! Pushed my hands up against her wound. Despite how hard I tried to close up the wound, more and more dark, sticky liquid just kept pouring out, staining my hands red. Somebody! Somebody! I don't know what to do. How do I save her? She was going to suffocate. As she started to cough, I put my hand behind her head and quickly turned it to the side. Blood poured forth from her mouth and fell onto the ground. Don't talk. It's okay. You're gonna be okay. Okay? How's this okay? She's bleeding so much. She's in so much pain. Why is this happening? I told you not to talk. So she's saying talk rude. No. Kurusu's face twisted and she started to cry again. And then... Huh? She suddenly grabbed my hand that was on her chest. Her grip was so weak. At that moment I felt an indescribable chill in my heart. Grab tighter. Be stronger. Like you're going to die. Her breathing was getting so shallow that she couldn't even speak. Try to grab my hand and bring it up next to her head. I need to keep this wound closed. Looked like she shook her head just a little. Then she slowly brought my hand up to her face, put it to her lips. The red from my fingers clung to her purple lips, shone like beautiful gloss. The sensation on my fingers was soft, terribly cold. That's when I knew. I'm going to die after. That can't happen. It can't! Her hand moved away from mine and fell to the ground. Oh? The name fell from my lips. The first time I'd said it in half a year. Hey, Nono? The name of my big sister who had always protected me. Wake up, Nono! Lifted her up and held her tightly in my arms. Didn't move at all. How is this happening? Hey, Nono? No! Called her name again and again, knowing that from now on, she'd never answer me. At some point, midnight had passed. It was November 4th. The last of the return of the new generation madness murders had occurred right before my very eyes.
たった今、警察から異例の発表がありました。実名による未成年の指名手配です。発表によりますと、警察は本日11月4日午前0時30分、現在東京都渋谷区で起こっている一連の猟奇事件の重要参考人として、私立碧峰学園3年
Okay, I was kind of thinking it would be that.
を全国に指名手配しました。繰り返しお伝えします。
Because that's kind of obvious Chaos Head vibes. I mean, he was the one at the murder. Nobody knows Erika was there except him. Wait. Yeah, okay, November 4th. Okay. Oh! Oh, this is another one of those... Okay. I was thinking the chapter is going to end soon. Wait, the name of the chapter is Onoi Serika? Or Her Intentions. Onoi Serika. Okay. I definitely didn't tear up because I obviously know that she's going to be brought back in the true ending, so it's okay. Well, actually, her dying is good because that means definitely in the true ending, Ito and Yui are going to live. Well, good thing for Ito. Like, Yui is still, like, you know, she contributes to Alba dorm scene, so, like, you don't have to kill her, maybe, like, put her in a coma, okay? Anyways, guys, next time we are... Is it the 4th? No, it's the 5th. What day did the big earthquake happen? I wonder if this... Well, this is probably a flashback. But am I expecting there to be another earthquake or something similar for the finale? We'll see. Bye.